So today we are on our way to the Bengals Stadium, one of my favorite stadiums. We are about to cross over into Ohio. Right now we're in Kentucky. We're going to be somewhere really cool in the stadium. I am interviewing, his name is Eric Ball. He runs the whole show. So if you want to know the face behind these NFL teams, Eric has some really cool hobbies that he's into. About to interview Eric Ball. Eric, are you ready to meet the people?
Someone found out that I was a beekeeper.
Yeah. Where's your thingy? Oh,
Right here?
Can I put it on your there?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right.
I was just trying to hide it.
There. Okay.
All right.
All right.
But they found out that I was a beekeeper. So then they did a story on me and it hit the Inquirer. And after the Inquirer, then everybody want to call me and do stuff. I'm like, no. So you're the first that I've done in a year.
Thank you. You know, I actually was trying to ask you on the sidelines when I sang the national anthem a few months ago.
I already knew. I knew you were coming back when you started giving me all the, here's my podcast and here, check this one out. I'm like, here's the big setup.
Don't you love it?
Here's the big setup.
I mean, who wouldn't
it's coming.
But who wouldn't want to know who the brains in operation and the man behind the scenes is? Everyone knows the Chad Johnsons and the AJ Greens, but everyone really wants to know who runs this place. Like, who helps these players stay sane and be the best man that they can be? I say that it's you. And so you're engagement.
I'm engagement, which has gone from player development to player engagement.
Which means what?
We engage the players. No.
You help players engage with the fans?
I help players transition, so it's transitioning from college to the NFL. While they're here, I help them adjust in the NFL, and then we work with them on the transition out of the NFL for life after football. So that's when they become before, next, and then they become a legend. So
wow.
College player, current player, then a legend.
Which is a huge deal and a huge job, and that means a lot because a lot of these guys don't know what they're going to do after the NFL. It's kind of a crisis sometimes.
Well, they don't know what they're going to do, what they're getting into when they come into the NFL. So, you know, as much as everybody can prepare you for it and try to talk you into tell you about it, even if you know people who are in it, until you experience yourself, because everybody's background is different, everybody's coping skills are different, and then when you get here, the relationships are different.
Okay.
And so each individual has a different experience according to their background and their experiences and how they cope. So that's what I'm here to assist and help with that.
Okay.
I'm a resource.
Boy, and so that's like a huge deal. They need you. You have a personal relationship with these guys, and really, you're like the big brother around here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I like to say big brother.
Okay.
That's a good term.
All right. So we've got the big brother of the Cincinnati Bengals here. The day after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting in your office for these guys. They like immediately as soon as you draft them, you've got people ready to book flights for them to Cincinnati. Is that right?
That's right. So obviously the way they've splitting up the draft, you have first round on the first day, second and third on the third day, and then fourth on through seventh the third day. We only bring in the first, second, and third round draft selections.
Okay.
So that first round draft selection, wherever he is, most of them have been in New York or location of the draft city. It's not in New York anymore, so then, since they're moving it around, he flew in from Memphis this past year, or Nashville this past year, with his family. So they come in, whether it's an overnight flight or the next morning.
Is it on a private jet?
No. Actually, we sent a car because it was quicker for them to drive up here.
3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
To drive up here than to book a flight, get there, and so he got here probably about noon the following day.
Wow. Okay. And he gets here. Do you have food or donuts waiting for him?
No food, no donuts. He makes the rounds. So he will meet Mr. Brown, Katie and Troy. He meets the head coach. They take him through the building. He meets with his position coach. Then he does all the media stuff.
Okay.
So all of the local press is here, national press, whoever's here. They go through all of that. Then he meets the fans. And then that evening, normally I will take him to dinner. This year, because I had surgery that day, I didn't take him to dinner. He got taken to dinner by his position coach. So
where do you take him to dinner?
They get a steak dinner.
Do you have a favorite place around here? Like Jeff Ruby's or something like that?
That's where they wind up going.
Everybody loves that place.
I've
never even been?
You what?
Jeff Ruby. I need to come eat a steak at your restaurant. Okay, so and then they eat steak dinner, and then hopefully you're just like the point is for them to feel welcome.
Well, to feel welcome, to meet all the people that they're supposed to meet, get exposed to where they're going to be.
Okay.
And then most of it is the media, because then the marketing department the next day, because they can only be here, I think it's 48 hours. So he's here that Thursday, so they get in Friday, and by whatever 24-hour period, 24 hours, he's gone.
Okay.
So Saturday, he's flying out somewhere.
Okay. Do they get to pick their locker? Or
They
you already...
do not.
Okay.
And a lot of times they try to come in and pick their numbers, but depends on what's available.
And it's also and how big of a player it is, right? Or no?
No, not really. I mean, even when AJ Green came in, I don't know that he selected 18, but he was given a number, and there's been a few. Again, it all depends on what's available.
Okay. So you, I think, can do really well at your job because you actually have been one of these guys before. You played at UCLA, and then you played for the Bengals.
I did.
Position running back.
Yes.
Dang.
Yes.
You were like...
So that helps. I mean, because I literally have experience what they're going through. I've gone through the transitions, and I've also done the transition out of the game. So having that experience and then living life, now I'm starting to look at, because I've always looked at like the year the guys were born that we're bringing in. Well, I'm like, dang, before it was like,
high school then.
Yeah, I was like, before it was like, okay, that was my high school year. Then it became, okay, that's the first year I got in college. And so then it was like, dang, now I look at it this year, the guys that are coming in was my last season.
No.
Yes.
So they're really young or you're really old. We're not sure which one.
Okay, we're not going to answer that question.
No, so that is amazing. And so I want to ask you, because it's not just football, it's if you're a career woman, you have babies, or if you're a man who's changing a career or lost a job or something, there is always an identity crisis sometimes.
Very much.
What can you tell people listening or watching, if they're going through a change or a shift, how do you help these players or anyone identify with their true identity, and how do they move forward? What's a good...
that actually begins the first day they get here. We start talking about that. I mean, it's always interesting, that you have that conversation with them, because you got to at least plant the seed. They're like, why are you already talking about that? Because I just walked through the door. And a lot of the guys, again, it depends on the maturity level. Some guys come in the door knowing that this is, my phrase to them is, this is the best temporary job you've ever had.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to do this for a career.
Wow.
Very few people get to make a career out of being a football player. So within this, we try to expose them to all the available resources that they have. And in that transition, they're not alone. And most of them don't take advantage of the available resources for them. The Legends community, the brotherhood of the NFL, and you may see the hashtag, but it's so true. It's the brotherhood.
What is the hashtag?
NFL, the brotherhood. It's the
brotherhood.
NFL brotherhood.
Okay.
And so the guys, have to use those resources available for them in transitioning from this life into civilian life,
Okay.
you know, real life, where you have to show up for work on time and you have to do your job, and you know, when you're not having a good day, you still got to make it a good day.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's those things that while you're here, you can take advantage of internships. You can go up to the league office and experience all the different departments within a company. You know, not only are you out here on the football field, but there's a finance department there, there's a sales department there, there's a marketing department there. I mean, there's a public relations.
Yeah.
So many different aspects of a company that guys just don't realize that they have access to.
That they might actually enjoy or like.
Exactly. You know, and you think about all the partners that they have within the NFL, they can go out and get their foot in the door to make that transition a little bit easier.
Wow. Can you tell everyone that's not watching or watching, where are we right now? And why did we come here?
Well, we are in the Paul Brown Stadium.
Yes.
And
what's the weather outside?
Since it's storming and raining out, and your request was to be on the B, so you got to make sure that you show the B on the 50-yard line of the NFL Stadium here.
I
Paul
asked
Brown
big
Stadium.
things. I have some tall orders.
No, that's not gonna happen because we're gonna be soaking wet. So I try to think of a spot within the stadium that I've really never been, and sitting up here in the canopy level is pretty cool.
Yeah, we are nosebleed, y'all. And it looks absolutely gorgeous, though. Isn't it cool?
You can see the river of that side, south. You can see the city. It's a nice, cool breeze up here, too.
So he's trying to tell me that he was struggling being on the show, but he actually got to experience something he's never experienced before. So you're welcome. We can both say thank you to each other. Okay, so outside of football,
okay,
you apparently have a lot of hobbies. What are some of your hobbies? Like, I know you have a lot of them.
It changes all the time, and I love to learn. I love to experience a lot of different things, and so I'm an outdoorsman. Anything, I love being outdoors.
Do you drive a pickup truck?
Yes, I drive a pickup truck. I've always driven a pickup. It's even when I got married, my wife, I told her there's two things I'm gonna always have: a dog and a pickup truck. I'm always have a truck. Are we in a country
song right now? You listen to country music?
No, I don't. That I used to, but I don't anymore.
What do you listen to?
It varies. I mean, obviously rap, but I love my mellow, so it's R&B and jazz.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the pickup truck. Yeah, so you're outdoorsman.
So I'm an outdoorsman, so it's fishing, hunting, hiking, camping. I'm a beekeeper, gardening. I love my garden. I mean, you name it. I've also, the last couple of years I've been tinkering with small engines, so I've learned how to fix small engines. I tan hides, so when I hunt, I don't waste the hide. I save the hides and I tan those.
What does that mean? Guys, I'm sorry. What's tanning
hides?
Yeah.
So the skin of the animal, I turn it into leather.
Amazing. Okay.
I use it to make leather.
Sorry, PETA.
Yeah, no PETA here.
Yeah, no PETA
I'm
here.
a carnivore.
Yeah,
you best believe that.
Hey, I have everyone knows I am #almost vegan because I will eat a rack of ribs and drink non-dairy creamer all at the same time. So.
Okay.
You, a few years ago, picked up a Dummy for Dummies book. Okay, can I just tell you?
Where'd you learn this from?
I have a for Dummies.
You must have read that the article or something.
I don't know what I did.
Yeah, you did some research.
I have like Spanish for Dummies. Okay. I have like finance for dummies.
Yes.
I have like cooking Italian for dummies. What was the dummies book you picked up, Honey Child?
Honey Child, you just threw that in there to fix it to make the transition.
I didn't even mean to.
You didn't even pick that up, did you?
No, I didn't. But that was
picked
pretty
up, yeah,
smooth.
Beekeeping for Dummies. And I read that cover to cover, and then I spent about a year looking at YouTube videos. Wow. YouTube videos, you can learn to do anything. I mean, all the hobbies I pick up, I spend all that time looking at YouTube. I learned
love it.
half of that from YouTube. Majority of it from YouTube.
Isn't that amazing?
I love it. Yes. So I started beekeeping 5 years ago. This is my 5th season.
Wow. And so you got a whole squad, a whole team.
I got my girls. They call my girls.
Why do you call them girls? Are they
bees
girls?
are all girls.
They are?
Yeah.
Who
Worker
knew?
bees, the whole,
I don't know that.
all but the drone. Now the drone is the only male in there, and the sole purpose that he has is to fertilize the queen.
Naturally.
But other than that, they don't know. They no good. You know? Once the year's over with, you know, towards the end of the season, when food starts getting thin, they kick them out.
Okay. So where are these bees?
So I keep them over in Kentucky. Coach Zimmer still has his property here, and he allows me to keep my hives over there.
He still has his property here?
Yep, he still has his property
here. And who is
here.
Coach Zimmer for those who are listening?
Mike Zimmer, who's the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
Awesome.
He still has his property here, so I have access to that. And I lost my last year was a terrible winter. I lost both my hives. I've had up to 3 because I don't, I do it as a hobby. I don't want to make work out of it. Once you get 4, 5, 6 hives, it becomes work. So
what do you mean you lost them? Do the bees freeze?
They got to make it over the winter.
So they move themselves.
They don't move. What happens is either they'll starve to death, winter cold, and last winter was a wet. It would be 60 degrees one day, then it's raining and freezing the next day. Well, when it gets above 50, they'll come out.
It's awesome. All right. So I asked a girl, she's a soccer player, pro soccer player. She's a vegan. And I asked her if she's a vegan. Vegans are actually, true vegans do not eat honey because they feel like, there's a crisis right now. And
yes.
They just feel like they need to protect the bees and blah, blah, blah. I don't really understand the whole controversy over it. But if you're a vegan, that means you're a vegan, but you do eat honey. Tell me, from learning about bees, what is your heart and take on the bee crisis, and is there a crisis, and what's going on with that?
There very much is. In the bee world, that was something that I learned after I got into it. You know, I was doing it just as a hobby. A friend of mine was doing it, and I asked him to teach me. Well, he took too long and never taught me, and that's why I went and got the book, started studying videos, and then went out there, and I actually volunteered for a little while for a local group here near my home, and I spent that year. But with the crisis, I didn't know that there was a bee crisis when I got into it. And I mean, honestly, without the bees, we wouldn't have much of anything.
Wow.
You know, with the pollination of our food and the trees, and just all the things that I remember watching a little cartoon, and they were talking about what happens in the bee movie. Exactly. Wow. And that's literally true. So I'm all for my bees. I hate when they swarm, but I'm happy when they do. And when they swarm, it means that the hive has gotten too crowded. The queen leaves with half of the bees, and half of them stay.
Wow.
So they go and search out another place. But for a beekeeper, it's difficult because you lose half your hive, and if you're in it for the honey, then your production goes down.
Okay.
I do. I love honey, and I do it as a a side thing that I don't sell my honey. I just wind up family members. They think I'm their supplier now.
Of course.
I'm their honey pusher.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. My uncle one day sits there, and I send him honey, and then he eats it up, and he sends me a picture of his empty bottle sitting on his microwave, talking about,
I need
yeah, I'm out of honey. I was like, take your butt to the store.
That's right. Get some of this fresh honey. It's gonna be expensive. Okay, have you bought a thing of fried chicken and put your honey on your fried chicken yet? Or do you just do biscuits and that kind of thing? Yeah,
I do mostly biscuits. Now, there are family members who do put the honey on their basis, but even, I've given them some of the players, and they won't share with their family members. I mean, once you have fresh honey, literally it's raw fresh honey. I will spin it out of the cone, I filter it, and it goes in the bottle.
Wow.
So,
So be more appreciative of bees.
Be more appreciative of bees. Take care of them. Don't kill them. If you see a swarm, call a beekeeper.
Have you gotten stung before?
I get stung all the time, and I still don't like it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, they're going to be protective, and certain times of the year, especially when the nectar is running, you get out there and you open up the hive. Now, you know, I have my smoker going, and you try to calm them down and all that, but last year's hive, the first one, that was a mean hive. They all have personalities, but the minute I opened that one up, them guard bees, all of them have a duty. They're guard bees in there. They was coming out after me.
But don't you have stuff to cover your skin?
Yeah, I put that stuff on now. Yeah, I'll tell you, they still find a way. There was one time, I was laughing at this video I was just watching as a beekeeper because we all been there. They got in the suit. And so I'm over there trying to run away, and I'm running because when they get mad, if you just walk away from the hive, they'll leave you alone. Well, I must have really PO'd this one because it stayed with me.
And
it was like in my suit.
Did you have to take the suit off?
Yeah, I'm over there running away trying to pull my suit off. I'm down to, the suit is down by my ankles and carrying on, and she still got me.
But so then a bee, if they sting you,
is dead.
Oh, so then that's kind of sad for a beekeeper.
Yeah,
don't sting me, you're gonna die.
You're gonna die, but I don't like it because it just. I've gotten used to it, and it all depends on where you get stung. If I get stung in the hand, it's no big deal. But if you get stung in a sensitive spot, it just itches like crazy. I keep Benadryl everywhere. I got Benadryl in my box, my bee box. I got Benadryl at home. I keep it in my truck, to keep all the itching.
This is so interesting.
It's a big setup.
No,
you know how they do that? Are you ready?
I'm not Barbara Walters. Okay, no, seriously. Stadium, and if I filled this stadium with every seat full of people, kids from 20 to 35, I'm going to cut off at 35 because that's my age. Young kids. Said, I want you to speak for 5 minutes or 2. What is the one message you feel like our generation needs to hear right now?
I'm glad you asked me that because I was at a school last night. Lincoln Heights. We were over at their rec center, and we visited this group. I took a player with me, and we visited the group. They were working with financial health, just like everything else. These kids were junior high, a little bit younger, and it kind of hurt my heart to hear. When you hear Lincoln Heights, you think automatically bad, and for them at that age, they know that people look at them that way because you say Lincoln Heights. And so as I would tell them don't let people define you. Don't let people put limitations on you, and don't put limitations on yourself. The world is your oyster. You can do anything that you can put your mind to, and with determination, effort, hard work, dedication, and opportunity, go for it. Get it done.
That's right. That's amazing.
That's what I would say.
I really appreciate you taking your time today to be with me and to be here just inspiring people, because the whole point of this whole thing is to really uncover behind the jersey the real life of sports and inspire people. People are always talking about negative, always wanting to talk about things
Very
that
much so.
People do bad, and assuming the assumption of you being, I don't know what people assume of you. Y'all, he's a beekeeper, he drives a pickup truck, okay? he knows a lot more than a lot of y'all do, and he also is impacting some of your favorite players to help them be the men that they want to be. And a lot of these guys haven't had a lot of guidance from their dads, so you're stepping in this void, in this space that is just so powerful. So Eric Ball, we really appreciate you. Thank you for being here on Jerseys and Heels.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Jerseys and Heels, because they are more than jerseys and we are more than heels. I hope you had a great time. Come join the party on Twitter and Instagram. You can also like and subscribe. We want to hear from you wherever you are listening, iTunes, Spotify. And then if you'd like to email us, you can email us at team@jerseysandheels.com.